have done once Catherine has done the countdown, I'll disappear into the background, and Dim and Catherine will run the show.
All right, so today we're doing a double trouble, which means that when you unpack your puzzle, you will see that it is a box that contains 2 puzzles within it. You will have a few seconds to look, and then you have to decide which one of the 2 puzzles you would want to do. The puzzles are just loose in bags inside of the box, so you just have to have a quick look at the puzzle bags themselves, and it's relatively easy to see which puzzle is which, so you can make your decision like that.
Good.
You need to keep, both of the images will be on the front of the box, so you can keep the lid to look at the images. And I think that's all. All right. So you can unwrap your boxes now.
Ooh, unwrap and reveal.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what will happen.
Not just what it is, but what the choices people are going to make. That's really.
Oh wow! I've seen this one in a 5,000 piece puzzle. Oh my
have
god!
a look if you can open the lid and have a look inside so that you can.
I think I'm gonna go for
see
the top one.
which one of the bags is which puzzle. And then when you have done that, just put the lid back on top and put the puzzle back in the middle of your table so that we know that you're ready to go.
Okay, let's see. Okay, the top one. Yeah, top one. Oh gosh, I've seen this design before. I did think about the 5,000 piece puzzle from Educa. I thought about buying it, but then I was like, I don't have space to make 5,000 piece puzzles.
I just want to mention Jenny Hoosman. Could you just angle your camera a little bit more down so we can see the table a bit more?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I think that one is
okay. So I think we can, go ahead.
Lena says there's only one bag in her box. Is there only one puzzle in it, or is it like one bag that is in the middle connected with 2 puzzles?
Oh. Oh my god, imagine. Who is this person?
Okay, that's a bit bizarre.
Okay, Nia also just has one bag. That's unfortunate.
Oh no.
She says she has only one bag and it is the hard one. Yeah, that
I think everybody's gonna choose this one.
That is really unfortunate. Is it for? Does everyone else have 2 bags in it? Like, can you do like a thumbs up if you have 2 bags? Okay, so most people have the 2 bags. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I don't know. That must be
manufacturing error, dude.
An error from
my god, that would be so bad if
manufacturer.
I had gotten the lower one. This is so hard.
Okay, so unfortunately, Nia and Lena, you will just have to do that one. I'm really sorry about that. We'll try to make it up to you another way, but yeah, just do the one that you have. Okay. So everybody has at least one puzzle. Then if you have, I'm sorry, if you have one puzzle, then that's the puzzle you're going to be doing. Let us definitely let us know later if you have that situation. Yes, okay, then otherwise everybody should be ready to go.
I puzzle standing up, so I'm going to be standing up. So Catherine. You can see, you will be able to see the top of my head.
Oh my god, it's the first time I'm doing the countdown. I'm sorry. Okay, ready to puzzle in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Puzzle.
All right, let's go, everybody.
Pretty sure
this is really, really cool. And the fact that the majority of people had to pick which one they were going to do is really curious. I'm excited to see what they end up picking.
All right, so we can take a closer look at the puzzles.
Yeah, what's the name of this guy, Catherine?
All right, so they are both together called Cosmos and Crystals. So the top puzzle has like, I'm just going to describe the puzzles one by one. So the one at the top has like a big section in the middle that's like a gradient with like the star signs in it. And then kind of around the edge and the bottom, the two borders and the bottom side is like miscellaneous like astronomy gear. So like planets, I can't think of the word for the thing. So there's all kinds of things.
The astrology and like astrolabes and all sorts of telescopes on the outside.
Exactly. There's also underneath the circle, there's a little white cat in the bottom. And yeah, there's all kinds of like glasses and knickknacks and all kinds of stuff. And then the other puzzle is just a collection of crystals. So all kinds of like gem stones, like geodes, things like that. The only thing that is not like a colorful gemstone is this magnifying glass that we see here. And for the rest, it's just, yeah, all kinds of colors and organic shapes.
Yeah, this is really curious because both of those puzzles have pretty straightforward parts and also pretty tricky parts. Like the background gradient of the Cosmos puzzle, like a lot of people will gravitate towards that, I think. But that outside edge with all of that gold and yellow and sort of duplicated astrolabe circle, all of those might be tricky for some people to grind through. On the other hand, the crystal puzzle, there's a lot of really distinct color and texture for several pieces, but then you also have chunks that are fairly large and duplicated. And if you have a little bit of trouble distinguishing some of those areas, I think the purples and some of those reds might be a little rough. It could be a little rough. So this is definitely one where puzzlers who are happy about gradients are going to gravitate towards that one, and puzzlers that are happy about patterns and textures are going to gravitate towards the other. I think this is going to be pretty exciting to see what comes down the pipeline. My hunch is that the crystal one might be slightly more difficult, but I don't think it's game breaking.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your strengths are. Personally, I thought that by just looking at them, I couldn't really tell which one would be harder, which one would be easier. But after doing them, there was one that was clearly harder than the other one. I'll talk about it maybe when we're like when like the first 10 minutes have passed, and we can probably see probably like also a clear difference between which one, yeah, maybe more people are doing one of them. We'll see. All right, let's start the introduction. So right now on screen we have Alexandra from Germany. We have Anne-Louise from Sweden. We have Anna from Cyprus. Anna A from Cyprus. Then we have Anne R from Finland. We have Annemie from Switzerland, and we have Astrid from Denmark.
Yeah, look at them taking off. We're already just over 4 minutes into this particular competition, and Astrid has the full border pulled out from the pile and is going to town on it. I think Astrid might have picked to do the Cosmos puzzle. It's going to be a little difficult to tell, like sort of like what you're saying, but this is really exciting. I think several people here picked Cosmos. Enemy may have gone for crystals. It looks like little tricky to tell with some of those pinks. But Ann R is doing a pretty big sort up front, and this is always when we talk about trade-offs in puzzling. Does the sort ahead give you enough distinction so that way you can make up a lot of time? And I think Anne is one of those people that does the sort pretty consistently, and it pays off. So it might look a little slow up front, but then they'll make up time on the other end of it.
One way we can easier distinguish what people are building in the beginning is you see on Astrid's table this light blue edge at the top. That is the gradient, so that is the Cosmos puzzle. The edge, the border of the other one is way more random colors, basically, all around.
Yeah, so there might be a little bit of split tactics for each puzzle, which is also really exciting. It's not just a matter of what image you pick, but also the approach that you pick on that image as well.
Yes. Joining us on the stream now is Bibi from Denmark, Birgit from Germany, Caroline from Germany, Christine from Denmark, and Kieran from Ireland, who I've had the pleasure to meet a couple of weeks ago at the Dutch Nationals for the first time. I'm always really happy to meet people that I've been seeing in the Euro Jigsaw Jams in person. And yeah, he was so nice. He came up to me and yeah, we hung out.
That's fantastic. It's always great to meet and spend time with other great puzzlers, and just enjoy this fun hobby altogether. But you can see that BB is also going for that top edge, and it looks like a little bit of a rainbow split for a lot of the pieces. I think she's pulled the edges kind of close to the main pile, but then it's rainbowed out above. It looks like Bridget is doing a pretty hefty sort up front, getting some of those blues and greens. I think they may have, by the look of it, they may be going for the crystal one, because I don't see the super bright pinks or purples inside there. But we'll see as it shapes up a little bit more. Carolyn, doing a really good job, has also gone for the Cosmos puzzle, has a lot of those yellows built out. You'll notice that she didn't end up going for that outer border. She just went, great, these yellows stick out the most to me. I'm going to crush them really, really quick and then expand out from it. Sunbursting is what we call it sometimes, and then going from there. Christine doing a great job getting a lot of those greens together. I think those bright greens may be the Crystallis, the crystal puzzle. Yep, trying to get those in little by little. Syrian getting the border built away, and Clarence also getting the full border. We're coming up on just over 8 minutes here, and so we're expecting to see a pretty decent number of pieces in, but you can also get a little shaken by having to make that choice early on. And this is going to be very similar to what people are going to have to deal with at Worlds, where those prelim rounds, puzzlers will pick between two different puzzles. So this is great practice for a lot of people.
Yes, and yeah, we have Clarence Martin, who I'm not sure exactly where they are from. Then we have Daniela, who is from the Netherlands. We have Daria from Poland. And we have Daria from Denmark.
Yeah, the D teams are doing excellent. You can see Daria has gone for the crystal puzzle and is getting those greens and oranges. I think those are going to be pretty distinct on the crystal puzzle, and I think you're going to see a lot more of the island technique with those, building specific spots and then expanding out from there. Whereas on the Cosmos puzzle, you're going to see a little bit more border and then gradient building straight down, which is going to be really exciting. But everybody's off to a really good kick here. If you see a full border, it's going to be about 86 pieces. So that's going to be a good way to estimate how much of the puzzle is completed at any point in time. I think on the crystal puzzle, if you see all those greens locked in, that's probably going to be about 50 pieces total. So if you see those greens in, you can make a pretty decent estimate that way.
Yeah, the greens are definitely the most distinct color from All the crystals, there's only really there's some green at the top, and then there's like a bigger green crystal also at the top, and yeah, all the rest, especially the reds and the pinks, are a little bit harder to place, like where they are from. All right, we have the next contestants on the screen. So we have Dora from Switzerland. We have Elina from Latvia. We have Elisa from Estonia, and we have Emilia from Finland.
Yeah, you can see a lot of several people ended up picking the Cosmos puzzle. I think a lot of puzzlers are attracted to those strong gradients because it sticks out pretty well, and a lot of puzzlers enjoy doing sky, nighttime, sunset puzzles. So it's something familiar that they can jump onto. So Lena and Amelia are both doing that Cosmos puzzle. Elisa has that full top border just about done and is starting to do a little bit of brute forcing down at the bottom. It's kind of interesting to see which puzzlers try to do a full border first versus just have those pieces off to the side and then knock them out as they go through. But Amelia is doing a solid job here, is expanding down through the top to get some of those blues in. Elena might be slightly ahead. It looks like, yeah, Daria is really trucking on that crystal puzzle, making excellent progress in those greens and yellows. And I think that's going to be a thing of doing it in layers, like a little bit of the greens, a little bit of the yellows, and sort of cycling through from there in order to make sure that you don't lose any time.
Yes. Our next contestants, we have Eric from the Netherlands. We have Evili from Estonia. We have Eva from Poland. And we have Fanny from Hungary.
And they are going to town. One of the things that Evily mentioned about things to bring was definitely headphones and a puzzle stand. Can't blame you at all for that one. A lot of folks end up listening to different kinds of music to get them going. I almost wonder if listening to different musics on different puzzles would give you a boost in some way, which would be kind of fun. Iwe has the entire border built out and then is expanding down into those blues on the Cosmos puzzle. Really good progress there. And Freya has most of those blues on the Cosmos puzzle built out. Eric looks like he has the full border. He might be slightly behind Iwa at this point, but not by too much. Fanny making excellent progress here, trying to build some islands in the middle with those astrolabes within the center of the Cosmos puzzle. Along with Freya, who I think looks like she almost has most of the border on. Yeah, she has a full border here. As we come up on about 13 minutes and 30 seconds inside of the double trouble puzzle on the EJJ here.
Yeah, so we also had Freya D from Sweden and Freya R from Denmark on the screen. That was bottom middle and bottom right that we were commenting on just now. Yeah, I see a lot of people have chosen the Cosmos, which I think I can now reveal is probably the faster puzzle for most people, because this gradient just kind of, especially if you like a gradient, it'll just kind of go in, and then yeah, the rest of the puzzle is not the easiest. It is a little bit tricky. There's lots of small things like parts of the puzzle that are really just the size of one puzzle piece, but there's not that many puzzle pieces left after you've done the border and the gradient. So especially our faster puzzlers should make easy work with it. The crystals puzzle, what I thought was the most difficult was just knowing what goes where, because a lot of the colors are similar, like I said before, especially like the reds, the pinks, and yeah, I got stumped with that one. It's not my type of puzzle. Continuing on, we have Hannah from Czechia. Then we have Hanna from Finland. We have Irma from Switzerland. We have Irina from Canada. We have Jane. Jane from Denmark. And someone named Isabel that isn't on my list.
Isabel sneaking in here and getting a lot of those border pieces built out. Jane is branching down from the top. You can see that somebody else is in the background of Jane's camera at the very top there, which is really exciting. Irina is one of the top puzzlers in North America. She did excellent at the U.S. Nationals in every division, and is only been getting faster and faster and faster. I highly recommend people keep an eye on Irina, because she is her improvement in the past several months has just been wild. And you can see that she's using that similar tactic of branching down from the top to get those light blues in. A lot of that gradient is really nice and slick. Once you get into those reds, it gets a little tricky because they're a little more split out, and those horoscope pieces can start to look a little similar. So we might see several puzzlers hit a short wall there. Hannah's doing really well. And Hannah L looks like she has full border and that sky region down into the yellows as well.
Yeah, another thing that maybe is worth mentioning is that these are Trefl puzzles. So they are the same puzzles that we're going to get at the European Championship. So a good moment to practice with Trefl puzzles. And compared to the Ravensburger puzzles, these are not so easy to like pick up and place somewhere else. So you kind of have to be a little bit more intentional about where you build, and that you leave open spaces so you can like push something in there instead of lifting it in there. All right, next on the screen we have Janine from Germany. We have Jenny from Finland, Jenny P from Finland. We have Jenny H from the Netherlands. Then we have Jessica H from the USA. We have Jessica R from Sweden, and then we have Joanna K from Poland.
All right, and you can see there's several different tactics going on here. It looks like Jenny P is doing the full border and then branching down on Cosmos, whereas Jenny H didn't do the full border but pulled those pieces and is just doing the top from that blue into the yellow. Joanna did full border into the blue, which is really cool. Same thing with Jessica, and Janine is doing a similar tactic to Jenny of not doing the full border first, but just branching down on those easier yellow pieces to knock them down. Jessica H is taking the road less traveled here and went for the crystal puzzle, brute force that full border, and is now trying to build some islands in the middle. I really like the choice here for Jessica to go for that darker purple crystal in the lower right hand side, because that's a pretty distinct, very dark color that not a lot of other pieces have. So she's going to be able to find those and crush them. And then that surrounding crystal is also pretty unique color wise as well. I think Jessica's doing a great job here of making a dent in that crystal puzzle, because it's very built around treating it kind of like a collage.
Yeah, there's definitely a few crystals that kind of spring out at you when you look at your pile, and those ones with the like inner, like the geodes, are definitely some of those. All right, let's continue. So we have Johanna from Germany. We have Judith also from Germany. We have Julia from Austria. We have Kati from Germany. We have Kinga from Poland, and we have Christina, who also isn't on my list yet, but she's there in the bottom right.
You can see Julia over there is into that little bit of more undistinguishable pinks and reds. towards the tail end of that gradient. And so we're going to see a lot of puzzlers slow down a little bit in that it's kind of like hitting a speed bump, but still making really, really good progress inside of there. Kinga almost has that full border done. Kati, however, has the full blues, whites, and into the reds. I think Kati and Julia might be about even total piece wise, but Kati has a little bit more connections. One of the cool things Kati is great at is doing this like typewriter, just left to right, getting whole sections built out before moving on. Whereas a lot of other puzzlers will jump around a little bit, and it's all about what methodology, what tactic works best for you that keeps you moving. Christina has that full border built. I think Christina went for the crystal puzzle and has a few islands built out over on the left-hand side there. You can see that she collected a lot of the greens and those blues and is going to be able to zipper those pieces together and then airdrop them in. I think you're right, Catherine, that because it's a Trefl, doing those pickup and moves are going to be a little trickier. So people doing the crystal puzzle might want to build inside the field rather than relying on the airdrop. Same thing with Johanna in the top left there. As we cross the 21 minutes and 30 seconds here, people are really making great progress.
Yeah, that crystal puzzle isn't easy. It's yeah, just because with the other one you have a clear start, right? You kind of know where you're going to start, and then you just kind of build away from there. All right, then we see some of our next contestants. We have Christian on the screen now from Poland, who is finished with the gradient and working on everything around the edge. And so is Victor, also from Poland, who we see at the bottom right now. So both Christian and Victor have the gradient done. They have the border built, and they're like filling in those spaces around.
Yeah, Christian and Victor and Kati, they're three of the fastest puzzlers in the world right now. So seeing them go to town on this puzzle is really impressive. These particular Trefls have been around for a little bit, so we know that Victor has done the both of these puzzles before. Not sure if Christian has. Pretty likely that it's in his repertoire somewhere. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see how they get on from here. But you can see that they're both about probably about 2/3, 3/4 of the way done, and just need to fill out the rest of those astrolades. So it's going to be a game of who can do a little bit more shape work, who can see some of those details on the pieces a little bit clearer. Christian doesn't look like he checks the box all that much at this point, so he may be just pushing through very quickly. Len's looking really strong, getting the Cosmos top done along with Leah, and Lena Buck has gone for the crystal puzzle, getting that full border in.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave Christian and Victor on the screen so everyone can watch, and then we're gonna try to get to everyone else who is still puzzling. So we have Leah K from Denmark. We also have Leah W from also from Denmark. Then we have Lena from Germany, and we have Lene from Denmark.
And they are cruising. Yeah, coming up on the 24-minute mark, we can see we can see the lower left-hand side there, slowing down in that pink region, but blasting through. Christian and Victor are neck and neck right now. Christian may be picking up a little bit of speed over on that left-hand side to lock out, but Victor is making these extra lines between things in order to make sure that he can use the shape work a little bit later. So really cool tactics by both people.
Next we have Celine from Les Puzzles de Blitz. Then we have she's from France. Then we have Lydia from Italy. We have Liebe, who I'm not sure who they are. And we also have Madara from Latvia.
Liva doing a great job on that crystal puzzle, getting that big chunk of green in. Lita is waving at the screen, also doing the crystals. You can see that she's making those islands of pieces and building it through. Madara and Las Puzzles, Celine, sorry, about even in total piece count. Madara did the border and Celine didn't. Christian and Victor are neck and neck right now. It's a little difficult to tell. I think Christian may have a piece count edge advantage right now, getting some of the more of those oranges and yellows in.
Then we have Magdalena from Poland. We have Maya Y from Finland. We have Maya JT from Slovenia. And we have Maria H from Finland. And we see so many people are doing the Cosmos, so most of you guys all had the same instinct that, that would probably be the faster puzzle.
Yeah, when in doubt, go with something that you recognize and feel safe, because you're probably right. Trust your gut. Yeah, everybody's doing really good. Christian, it looks like he's down to about the last 50 or 60 pieces or so. Victor's only slightly behind. He may be at close to 70 pieces, but they might be able to make up a little bit of time with that setup that he did earlier.
Also puzzling is Maria R from Slovakia, Maria TB from Sweden, Marilyn from Estonia, and Miller from Finland.
Yeah, Melina, sorry, didn't do the full border, but is just expanding down into those yellows and blues on Cosmos. Maria, everybody else is sort of doing those borders. One of the things that's really fun to watch about Christian and Victor is that they use both their left hand and right hand equally. They're not just kind of using their left hand or right hand. Christian picks up one piece in both hands and then twirls them around and stuffs them in. It cuts down on the transfer time from the pile into where they're going to end up building it. Same thing for Victor. You'll see that their hands move very, very rapidly, and they pick up a piece that they know that they want to get. And then they airdrop it right where it needs to go.
Somebody's already gonna.
I think Christian is accelerating into the end here, and may have this locked up.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with how he's doing this without looking at the box, because I was, especially for these last parts, just looking at the box to figure out where the pieces would go. Also puzzling, we have Mooney from Germany. We have Nadia from Indonesia. We have Natalia from Poland. And we have Natasha from Austria.
All doing really great. And Christian is coming down on the last 4 or 5 pieces here, is going to get them in. Oh, he has several pieces sitting on top of the puzzle. I didn't see that. That was missing. They were sitting on top of the gradient. So that might slow him down just a little bit, but not enough to keep him out of the first place slot. Coming into the wrap up here. Mooney and Natasha doing excellent job here, along with Natalia and Nadia. Nadia went for the crystal puzzle, has that green island as an anchor point, but Christian has maybe about 15 pieces left. I didn't see those sitting on top of the gradient.
Yeah, I think he might have slightly more, but it's hard to tell because also his table, you don't really see what is still an empty space and what is already filled in. All right, from our next puzzlers, we have. I think Michelle is showing us
Christian
some other.
hits the done button. Congratulations, Christian. Very well done.
Congrats.
I think it's just over 29 minutes.
Yeah.
Very well done. Congratulations. That was amazing. Being able to do any puzzle in under 30 minutes is wild.
Yeah, 29 and 30 seconds, something like that. Congratulations.
And Christian did confirm this is the second time that he's done this puzzle, so explains what that's probably why he didn't have to check the image as much, because he already had a pretty good idea of what it looked like and then could just drop things in. his memory on these kinds of puzzles is really good, and I'm willing to bet that those astrolabes, those browns, are very similar to the giant like 2,000 to 3,000 piece puzzles that he does that are all forest. Oh, and he solved these both in January. Yeah, very well done.
Yeah, that explains why you didn't have to look at the at the box very much. Michelle has put on the screen also Verena Klauser, who is going to be one of our guest interviews later in the stream. She's doing really well. She also did very, very well at the Austrian Nationals last weekend. We'll be chatting about that. Then we also have on screen Kati, who also seems to be working on the bottom part. We have Astrid, and I think the fifth person is Irina, if I see correctly. So these are the next people to finish.
Yeah, I think Irina is pretty close, along with Olivia as well. Victor is in the head is ahead here, and Verena's making really good progress. You can see everybody hits that slow down button as they get into those astrolabe sections of the as they get into the astrolabe section of that Cosmos puzzle, because there's so much duplication inside of there. It makes it a little tricky to really discern which piece is supposed to go where when. So keeping track of those, so you'll see some puzzlers end up using a discard area, or they send it to like puzzle jail. And I think that's what Christian was doing earlier, where he would take a piece and if he wasn't 100% sure, he would just leave it on top of the gradient. I think that's okay whenever the color is different enough from what you're working on that you're not going to forget that it's there. That's the huge thing, is making sure that you never forget where your pieces are.
All right, and we're going to go back to introducing everyone. So we have Nia, who sadly got stuck with the one puzzle because there was only the one puzzle in her box. So she sadly has to do the harder puzzle. Then we have, she's from the UK. Then we have Nicole, who is from Bulgaria. Then we have Nina, who is from Denmark. We have Olivia from Poland, who is doing excellent progress. And then we also have Patrick from Switzerland.
Yeah, and you can see Nina's making excellent progress there on that crystal puzzle, really using those islands to the advantage, getting that green. That dark blue over on the lower right hand side is a really good target as well. And we talk sometimes about switching lenses in your eye in order to be able to figure out which kinds of things you're going to work on next. So figuring out what kind of texture you want to aim for is going to be really big on that crystal puzzle. But she's making really good progress here. Olivia is flying right now, is down to just those browns, that outer edge, with all the compasses and planets and browns and golds. I think Victor is pretty good and set to lock up the second place line here, as he gets another handful, and I think he's down to about the last three pieces here. 3, 2, 1, and he hits the done button. Congratulations, Victor. Very well done. Just under the 34-minute line. Really, really well done, sir. It's a phenomenal job. And these, we say it all the time. Some of these puzzlers make it look easy. These puzzles aren't easy.
No. Yeah, I expected Victor to do well. I looked up his time on my speed puzzling. I think it was 38 minutes. So he got even faster than than he did it last time.
Yeah, and that's always what you want to see, is about somewhere between a 10 to 15% bump if you're relying just on memory and doing the same puzzle again, which is really, really impressive. Congratulations, Victor. That's an excellent job.
So just before on screen, we saw Rachel from Denmark, Ramona from Switzerland, Rika from Denmark, and Saskia from Estonia. And now on the screen, we have Salma from Sweden, we have Simone from Austria, we have Stephanie from Germany, we have Steffi B from Germany, and Steffi H from Germany. And in the bottom right, we have Kati working on the last parts of the puzzle. But these last parts of this puzzle, they are tricky because you need way longer for those than you need for the gradients. It's a little bit we're gonna be we'll be seeing lots of gradients finished and people struggling with the rest of the puzzle.
Yeah, and that's a-okay. This is part of why you blitz as fast as you can on the quote unquote easy parts of the puzzle, or the clearest ones, the ones that the parts that are the most straightforward for you to get your eye on. And then you hope to make up that time. You use that advantage a little bit later whenever you get to the really tricky parts. You can see Steffi B trying to make those lines in at the bottom. Similar to what Victor had done with getting that pedestal, that sort of off gray yellow, and the stair steps inside of there, because that's a pretty distinguishing line inside of that puzzle to get done. Kati also getting that gray stairwell in, and then is going to be able to use some shape work as she keeps pushing forward. Verena almost out of the full gradient and getting into a little bit of the other into the astrolabes, but Vicky is ahead of Verena at this point and is branching out into those astrolabes, making really good moves here. It's fun to see how Vicky has started to put she didn't do this forever, but it's a new thing where she's starting to put all the pieces just on one hand side and then dunking them in from the other. Veronica is also moving through. You can see that Veronica has those pieces spread out in almost a rainbow around pieces, and is sometimes bouncing from one piece to one side to the other to figure out what she wants to put some more pieces in.
Yeah, so also on screen now we have Teja from Finland. We have Verena, who we already shortly saw on screen before. We have Veronica G from Germany. We have Veronica V from Slovakia, and we also have Vicky, who we will also be interviewing later today, and she is from Budapest. So if you have any questions if you want to know anything about Budapest, you can drop them already in the chat, and then we'll ask Vicky all the questions later that we want to know.
Guzzle Gaming is pointing out the real question is, can Naya finish in time for the puzzle guzzle she has in 26 minutes? I believe in Naya. You can do it.
Let's hope. Let's hope she can do it. All right, and we're almost at the end of the alphabet. We have reached the V's, the W's. Well, one of the one W is already gone. Victor has finished already. So we still have Froni from Switzerland, and then we have Zane from Latvia, and then we went through everyone. So yeah, we didn't quite finish before the first person finished. So if you are playing bingo tonight, that's one of the boxes you can tick off. Yeah, I'm really impressed.
We always want as many winners as possible.
Exactly. I'm super impressed with everyone's progress. A lot of people are fighting with the bottom, like what is it, a fifth maybe of the image from the Cosmos puzzle, and we can see that an overwhelming amount of people have chosen that puzzle, and maybe the people that haven't chosen it also were the people that only had one bag.
Yeah, I think there's I think you end up with close to a third of the puzzle being all of that real finicky, tedious golden brown pieces. So the fact that people got through the gradient as quickly as they did is really impressive. And the fact that they're plowing through this is even more so, because that is not easy at all. You can see Irina is making some really serious moves here. It looks like she might be down to about the last 50 pieces or so. And because of the way things are spaced out, she's really going to be able to use the shape of the piece in order to sink in the rest of this. I think we're going to see her accelerate in towards the end here. Kati is maybe a little about even, maybe slightly behind
Okay,
Irina. It's a
this is
little
like-
difficult to count the total number of pieces at this point, but they are making some serious moves. And along with Olivia, I think Olivia may have the total piece count advantage here. But Olivia is also one of those puzzlers that is very technical and precise, and isn't one of those like physically fast, like rapid hand movement kind of puzzler. She's very accurate with how she with how she does things. So it's fun to see those two groups come into the close. And Veronica is also coming in hot now. It looks like she may only have about 30 pieces remaining in those browns, unless there's some sitting a little bit off camera that I can't see. But this is going to be close coming into the top, the rest of the top 5 and the top 10.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a wave of puzzlers finishing all around the same time. Yeah, everyone was so quick with the gradient, and then you kind of slow down. Yeah, with the last third of the puzzle. But yeah, we can really see a lot of people like kind of at the same stage. We have some people, yeah, in the chat. Michelle is
Veronica's coming in
asking.
on the last couple, and Veronica is done. Congratulations, Veronica!
Congratulations!
Just over 41 minutes. That's absolutely phenomenal. You know, we're talking about hitting a slowdown on this one. Can you imagine getting a puzzle done in 41 minutes? Like it's absolutely amazing. It's really, really cool.
It's definitely not slow. Yeah, someone in the chat was asking how Caroline is doing. She is doing pretty much the same as everyone else. She's finished with the gradient and she's working on the last third of the puzzle. So yeah, she's gonna be probably in the next wave of finishers that's coming
Olivia's
up now.
Olivia's down to the last 10 or 11 pieces here, along with Vicky. Vicky is maybe down to 15. We're gonna see if she can get her physicality going. But Olivia is just so accurate. I think she's going to be able to drop those last ones in. Yeah, Olivia's running away with the next slot here to get those last 3 pieces in. But Vicky pushing hard, making it a tight fight. And Olivia gets that last piece in. Is she going to be able to run up and hit the done button? A little bit of a misstep there, trying to get that last one in. Rotates it in her hand. There's a couple of pieces sitting on the puzzle and the gradient, which is difficult to catch. And she hits it. Congratulations, Olivia!
Woo!
Locks up 4th place, I believe. And Vicky is right behind her on her heels. I think there's only about 7 pieces remaining. And whenever you get these really tight finishes, you know, we're starting to see more and more puzzlers get finished closer and closer together. And Vicky's done. Congratulations. A lot of times those close finishes, it can even come down to just having an unlucky flip, right? If you have
And Anime
an
also
extra 10
finished.
pieces. And Anime, I didn't even see Anime. Oh my gosh, congratulations, Anime. You slipped under the radar there. Very well done. Wow. I'm sorry, I didn't make the call on that. Anime, congratulations. You and your mascots there putting in some extra power. And we're now looking at our top 10. Hannah L coming in hot, along with Irina, who's going to be able to grab these the last of the top 10, make it
It's
above the
Hannah.
polls. Hannah does it. Congratulations, Hannah.
Awesome.
Irina had just a few more extra pieces inside of her hand, getting them out pretty quickly here. But going sub 45 on something like this, where a third of the puzzle is that wacky, is pretty difficult. And I think Irina is going to be able to lock in just under 44 minutes. Yes, congratulations, Irina. Well done.
Congrats. 8th.
Very well done.
Yeah, now
And
people
now-
are finishing just within a few seconds of each other, like less than a minute of each other, and
Yep.
it'll probably keep going like that until the end of the stream. That's my prediction, and it's just going to be very.
It's gonna be tight, and we're
One
starting
after
to
the
see
other.
that. We're starting to see that more and more and more as the abilities and the level of puzzlers increase. The difference, the deviation between their times is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, which is really phenomenal to watch. You know, it used to be that you'd have finishers, 2-3 minutes apart across the entire spectrum, but now you're starting to get these clusters of waves as puzzlers of similar abilities start running up on each other, which is really impressive. But you can see Carolyn making good progress. Astrid coming in on probably the last 30 pieces or so. Iwa is down into the murk, dealing with some of those left and right hand duplication of pieces. Kati is also wrapping up. It looks like down to maybe about 30 pieces or so. I wildly undercounted earlier. That's entirely my fault. But Verena is also trying to wrap up what's left of the edge of the gradient and then get into the murk inside of that. Steffi B has only about 10 pieces left. Is Steffi B going to be able to push through? You can see the hands moving a little bit faster as they try to get that. And Daria is looking excellent in the lower right hand side. Steffi B gets the next slot. Congratulations. Wrapping it up very quickly. And Daria is coming in hot as well. This is really, really great puzzling by everybody. And we're not even at the 46-minute mark yet.
Yeah, this is really amazing. When you look at the times from my speed puzzling, they are a little bit higher than some of the other faster puzzles that we've seen people do. So anytime under 50 on these puzzles, especially if it's your first time doing it, is kind of amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and for a lot of people, if you haven't done these puzzles before, don't be discouraged because some of the people ahead of you have done it before, and so they're going to get a time bump. And Iwa finishes very, very well done.
Rounding out the top 10 of today is Eva. Congratulations.
Or Ava, sorry. One of these days I'll get the pronunciations right. My apologies.
Oh, I'm also, I don't know about the pronunciation. So if we mispronounce any of your names and you want us to say it more correctly, let us know hop over to the YouTube and let us know how to say your name correctly.
Yeah, Verena coming in on the last handful of pieces. I think there's only 3 in their hand that she's got to get the rest of this done. And she hits it, put it in, type it. Do it. Oh no! Oh no, we're having a time. There it is. Congratulations. I can see Verena having a heart attack right there, trying to get the words built in right before the end.
Oh, and
Daria
right behind
her. Congratulations, Daria. Very,
so
very well done puzzling.
So far, everyone has done the Cosmos puzzle, so I can't wait to see what the fastest time for the other puzzle will be.
Crystal, yeah.
Yeah, it's slower. We know that now.
Yeah.
But still, if you are one of the people that is doing the other puzzle, you can still be first for that puzzle.
Congratulations, Kati. Kati finishes strong, just ahead of Stephanie Tay.
Yes.
Congratulations. That last chunk of the puzzle where it's just duplicated on both sides is really, really tricky.
All right. So I think it might be a good time to bring in some of our first finishers. I know Christian didn't have time to be interviewed, so we're gonna go straight to Victor. Victor, if you're there, you can turn on your mic.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations on your second place.
Thank you very much.
So how did you, well, I know you've done both of these puzzles, so I'm assuming you knew which one was the faster one for you. Did you maybe play in your mind with like, maybe I'll do the other one just to challenge myself, or was your decision clear?
The decision was clear, but to be honest, I don't know how long ago it was when I was doing those puzzles, but I remember that when I was looking at the 2 images, I thought to myself that I know that the gradient section of the astrology puzzle will be very fast, but I couldn't really tell how difficult would be the rest of it. And I didn't think that the other puzzle was easier, but also I thought that the crystals would be easier than they were. Because when I started doing the crystals, and I don't know, I think I did the blues and the greens, it was so blurry and like all over the place, and I was like, oh no. It wasn't that fun. And also the lower section of the astrology puzzle proved to be not as bad as I thought. So that's what I remembered from the puzzle. And yeah, I was actually very surprised that I didn't remember anything from the like lower half of the puzzle, because I normally like remember almost everything. But this time I was like, why can't I remember? Like I didn't even remember the globe, like those figurines or those colorful bottles. Like I didn't.
Mhm.
I was like, what is this? And am I doing it for the first time? Yeah. Oh yeah. One thing that I
How
remember
hard
that
is this?
it is really good to have the pieces that have this little like, how do you call it? Like stripes. Yeah, stripes, vertical stripes, because they go to the both top corners, because those are the columns.
Mhm.
And I think this is the thing that I remembered when I saw the first piece with it. I was like, oh, I remember that one.
Well, no, like it's really cool that you mentioned that, because there's so many things that you don't remember exactly where a specific piece goes, but a lot of times, like a feature will stand out, and that's really cool that you were able to go, oh right, this is one of those columns. I got to deal with the columns, and then you can go in and address them, which was really fun to watch. Um, one of the things that I saw you do, which I think was really smart on this, is that you went in and there's this like eggshell white stairwell or sort of ground area at the
Yeah.
bottom, but underneath that telescope. How easy is it to find and pull out that kind of piece whenever there's so much murk everywhere?
This just comes down to what you were mentioning in the commentary when I was doing it. The fact that you can like change the lenses of your eyes. So that's what I do with busy puzzles. When I want to find one section, I just like go blurry and try to look only at the colors. And basically that's it. I just took out the most bright pieces, and also the ones that looked like they could be somehow this weird stir something. and and yeah, but I had trouble with like putting it together much more than I had like the first time, I think, because that time I just took the pieces and I had them all, and I was like pick, and this time I had like also all of them, but I had to like have 3 islands and then connect them, and I didn't understand what was happening. But I was like, okay, go with the flow.
Well, it's fun that you say that, because I'm sure a lot of people are always thinking that the top level puzzlers are just untouchable and always do the same thing the exact same way, and the only option is for everything to feel better every time they do it. And what it sounds like you were just saying was, hey, there was some stuff that was a little funkier this time than it was previously.
Yeah.
Even though you did other stuff, even though you were a little more efficient in other ways. Does that happen to you when you're practicing with other puzzles as well?
Yeah, it is very visible when you're trying to do like your personal best on a puzzle, for example, on the postcards, right? If you have done the puzzle 10 times, even though
There's a little tree.
you might think that you're not getting faster, you're certainly doing some of the sections faster, but at some point you will realize that I think I did this section faster the last time, and you don't really know why. And if you just have this experience, I think you will be able to identify it when it happens with like all of the puzzles that you do, that it was faster the last time. And then you have to think about it, like, what did I do wrong? And try to learn from it, right? Because if you just observe, this is the first step, but if you don't take the second step, then it won't really help.
That
I'm
makes
just
a lot of sense. Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me, I just want to chime in because I see the first person on screen that's probably going to be the first person to finish the crystals puzzle is Natalia. She has chosen to do the crystals, and it looks like she'll be hopefully finishing before the hour mark. I mean, it looks like that from now.
Oh yeah, she'll be able to get this done in under an hour. Yeah, the close on the crystals will be pretty quick, I think. Because even though things are a little split, it's not split opposite sides of the board quite as much as how it is on Cosmos, and so you can kind of cluster some of those pieces together a little bit easier in order to get them. Yeah,
but
you see with her
pieces that are
hands
left
right
are
there.
very tricky.
Yeah, you can see right there with what she did. She had grabbed a handful, and then went to about where it was going to go, and then chunk got those in pretty quickly, and then just kept that group if it wasn't right and moved it to a different slot. Yeah, really cool.
This is the tactic that we always discuss about. We have discussions about because it is very different from what I do. And when we are doing pairs and we have one section that we have to complete, I am looking for the correct pieces and Natalia is looking for the correct places, and this is not working together really well.
Well, it's about it's always a game of figuring out how to work together with the ways that your guys are the fastest, which is really fun to watch. One of the things I'm curious about, Victor, is that this process is going to be very similar at Worlds this year of having to pick between two different puzzles that you've probably done before, right? I know that you were saying that the crystal one was a little trickier than you weren't expecting it to be because of the way it sat on the pieces, and because sort of like what Catherine was saying with the Trefl, you can't airdrop things in, you can't pick them up and place them quite as easily.
Yeah.
If these were both from the Ravensburger publisher, and you had that option of building outside and then dropping it in, would you have picked Cosmos today as well? Or would it have been a little different because it's a different publisher? Okay, cool.
Because for me, the problem with not being able to airdrop something is not really a problem. And Natalia is done.
Yeah, congratulations. Oh, just ahead of a big wave of people all getting it at the same time. Congratulations, Natalie.
What was the question?
Oh, it was just figuring out like if these were under the Ravensburger brand rather than Trefl, would you have picked differently?
I would pick the same. And actually, why I would do it is the same reasons that why I would why I can't speak today. Why I would choose this puzzle as if it was a Trefl, right? Because I look at the image and not really at the quality, but maybe I should. But also, I was saying that it isn't really a problem for me to airdrop
that
something
busy
because
section is so
I don't really
hard.
do that in my process. I really rarely airdrop something because I always puzzle at the exact spot that it should be. So
Skill diff,
I don't
big time.
really
Oh my God.
experience this problem, but I know that